Daniel Parker stood in the small kitchen of his modest apartment before sunrise, carefully spreading peanut butter across 2 slices of bread while the coffee maker hissed softly in the background. The apartment was old, the wallpaper slightly faded, and the refrigerator hummed louder than it should, but everything was spotless. Every plate was washed, every chair neatly pushed beneath the table, and every schoolbook stacked in perfect order. It was a home built not with luxury but with discipline and love. Daniel glanced at the clock before checking the lunchbox waiting on the counter. He added a fresh apple, a small packet of crackers, and a handwritten note that simply read, "Believe in yourself today. Love, Dad." From the bedroom came the sleepy voice of his 8-year-old son. "Dad?" "I'm here, buddy," Daniel answered with a warm smile. Ethan appeared in the hallway wearing oversized pajamas, rubbing his eyes. His messy brown hair pointed in every direction, making Daniel laugh quietly. "Morning, champ. I'm still tired." "I know. School starts early." Daniel crouched down and gently fixed Ethan's hair before leading him toward the bathroom. Their mornings followed the same routine every day. Brush teeth. Wash face. Get dressed. Eat breakfast together. There was comfort in the routine because, after everything life had taken from them, consistency had become their greatest source of peace. 3 years earlier, Daniel had never imagined life would look like this. He had once owned a comfortable suburban home, shared family dinners with his wife Olivia, and dreamed about growing old beside her. Their marriage had seemed stable from the outside, but behind closed doors the distance between them had grown month after month. Financial stress, endless arguments, and Olivia's growing dissatisfaction slowly destroyed the relationship they had built. Then one afternoon she told him she wanted a divorce. The words echoed in his mind for months afterward. She insisted she deserved a better life. She wanted someone more successful. Someone wealthier. Someone who could give her luxury instead of promises. Daniel hadn't begged her to stay. He had simply looked at Ethan, who was only 5 years old then, and realized his son needed one parent who remained calm. The divorce finalized quickly. Olivia walked away with most of their shared assets after marrying a wealthy businessman only months later. Daniel kept almost nothing except his clothes, his old pickup truck, and full responsibility for raising Ethan. Many people assumed his life was over. Some relatives whispered that no single father could successfully raise a young boy alone. Others pitied him. A few secretly laughed. Daniel heard every word. He answered none of them. Instead, he worked. Every morning he repaired machinery at a local manufacturing company. Every evening he returned home to help Ethan with homework, cook dinner, wash clothes, and clean the apartment. After Ethan fell asleep, Daniel opened his aging laptop. While the city rested, he studied. Books about investing. Online business courses. Technology trends. Financial reports. Startup case studies. He watched lectures until 2 or 3 in the morning before sleeping for only a few hours. Night after night. Week after week. Month after month. The exhaustion often became overwhelming. Sometimes he nearly fell asleep at work. Sometimes his eyes burned from staring at spreadsheets. But every time he considered giving up, he looked toward Ethan's bedroom. His son deserved a better future. That thought alone pushed him forward. Breakfast finished, Ethan happily ate his sandwich while talking about school. "Dad, we're learning about inventors today." "Really?" "Yeah. My teacher says every big invention started as a small idea." Daniel smiled. "She's absolutely right. Can anyone become successful?" Daniel looked into his son's hopeful eyes. "Anyone willing to keep learning can surprise the world." Ethan grinned. "I'm going to invent something amazing." "I believe you." After breakfast they left the apartment together. The hallway smelled faintly of fresh paint because the landlord had recently repaired one wall. Outside, the autumn air felt crisp. Leaves drifted across the sidewalk. Daniel unlocked his old pickup truck. The paint had faded years ago, and the engine sometimes rattled before starting. Ethan climbed inside anyway as though it were the greatest vehicle in the world. "I like our truck." "So do I. It has character." Daniel laughed. "Where did you learn that word?" "My teacher." "She's teaching you well." They drove toward Ethan's elementary school while soft music played through worn-out speakers. At the school entrance, Daniel parked and walked Ethan to the gate. Several parents arrived in expensive SUVs. Business suits. Luxury handbags. New cars. Daniel noticed them without envy. Years ago, such sights would have reminded him of everything he had lost. Now they reminded him only that appearances never revealed the whole story. Before entering school, Ethan hugged him tightly. "Love you, Dad." "Love you too, champ." As Ethan disappeared into the building, Daniel remained standing for a moment. Watching. Smiling. Then he returned to the pickup truck and headed toward work. He had no idea that this ordinary morning was quietly leading toward an extraordinary future. Hidden inside his backpack was a sealed envelope Ethan had forgotten to mention. It contained an invitation to Daniel's high school reunion. An invitation that would soon force him to face the people who believed his life had ended 3 years ago. None of them knew that while they measured success by expensive clothes and impressive appearances, Daniel had been quietly building something far greater. One decision, one sacrifice, and one sleepless night at a time. Daniel spent the rest of the morning repairing industrial equipment at the manufacturing plant, moving with the calm precision that had earned him the respect of every technician on the floor. Grease stained his gloves, the sound of heavy machinery echoed through the enormous building, and the scent of metal and engine oil filled the air. To everyone around him, he was simply the dependable mechanic who never complained and always volunteered to help others. None of his co-workers knew that after finishing each shift, Daniel often attended online meetings with investors from different countries or reviewed reports from companies in which he quietly owned significant shares. He had never felt the need to reveal that part of his life. Wealth, he believed, was safest when it remained unnoticed. During his lunch break, Daniel sat alone at a small table outside the factory, opening the lunch he had packed for himself. Before taking a bite, he checked his phone. Several notifications appeared almost immediately. One message came from the chief executive officer of one of his investment firms. "The acquisition has been completed successfully." Another message followed from his financial advisor. "Congratulations. Your net worth has officially crossed another major milestone." Daniel read both messages without excitement. He simply typed one reply. "Thank you. Continue with the Education Foundation project." He slipped the phone back into his pocket and continued eating his homemade sandwich as though nothing unusual had happened. For Daniel, success had never been about expensive watches or luxury cars. It was about freedom. Freedom from fear. Freedom from debt. Freedom to give his son every opportunity he never had. When his shift ended that afternoon, Daniel picked Ethan up from school. The boy ran across the playground with a huge smile. "Dad." Daniel caught him in a hug. "How was school?" "I got an A on my science quiz." "I knew you would." "And guess what?" "What?" "Our teacher gave everyone invitations for parents." Daniel looked confused. "What kind of invitation?" Ethan reached into his backpack and pulled out a cream-colored envelope. "Oh. I almost forgot." Daniel opened it. Inside was not a school invitation. It was addressed directly to him. His high school reunion. 3 years had passed since graduation anniversaries had become regular gatherings, but Daniel had ignored every previous invitation. His eyes remained fixed on the card. Saturday evening. Grand Regency Hotel. Class reunion. Reconnect with old friends. Share your journey. Ethan tilted his head. Are you going? Daniel remained silent for several seconds. I don't know. Why not? It brings back a lot of memories. Bad ones? A few. Ethan thought carefully before answering. You always tell me brave people don't avoid difficult things. Daniel smiled. I really did teach you that. So, maybe you should go. Daniel folded the invitation and placed it back inside the envelope. I'll think about it. That evening, after dinner, Daniel washed the dishes while Ethan finished homework at the kitchen table. The apartment was peaceful. Outside, rain gently tapped against the windows. Daniel glanced toward an old photo album resting on a nearby shelf. Without thinking, he picked it up. The first photograph showed him and Olivia on their wedding day. Both smiling. Both believing they would spend their lives together. He slowly turned another page. Family vacations. Birthday parties. Their first apartment. The day Ethan was born. The memories felt distant now. Painful, yet strangely peaceful. He no longer hated Olivia. Time had softened the anger. What remained was disappointment. She had measured his worth by the size of his paycheck. She never saw the determination quietly growing beneath every setback. Another photograph slipped from the album. It landed face up on the floor. It showed Daniel standing beside several high school classmates. Among them was Olivia. Everyone looked young. Optimistic. Certain life would unfold exactly as planned. Daniel laughed quietly. Life had chosen a very different script. His phone vibrated again. This time it was a video call. The screen displayed the name Marcus Hayes. Marcus had once been Daniel's college roommate and was now the president of Daniel's global investment company. Daniel answered. Good evening. Marcus smiled. The board approved the expansion. Excellent. We're also finalizing next month's charity announcement. Good. Marcus hesitated. Are you still planning to attend that reunion? I'm not sure. I think you should. Daniel raised an eyebrow. You know why I avoided it? I do. But you're not the same man anymore. I don't need anyone's approval. This isn't about proving anything. Marcus smiled knowingly. It's about realizing you've already won. Daniel remained quiet. Marcus continued. Go because you've made peace with your past. Not because of revenge. Not because of pride. Go because nothing there can hurt you anymore. After ending the call, Daniel looked again at the reunion invitation. Maybe Marcus was right. Running from memories gave them power. Facing them ended their influence forever. Saturday arrived faster than expected. Daniel stood in front of his closet studying 2 suits. One was expensive, custom-tailored by an Italian designer. The other was a simple navy blue suit he had worn to several business meetings before anyone recognized his name. He chose the simpler one. There was no reason to attract attention. Ethan watched from the bedroom doorway. You look nice. Thank you. Are you nervous? A little. You'll be okay. Daniel smiled. I think I will. As he reached for his car keys, Ethan handed him the reunion invitation one last time. Remember. What? You don't have to impress anybody. Daniel looked proudly at his son. I know. Because the greatest victory wasn't becoming wealthy. It was becoming the kind of man who no longer needed anyone else's opinion to know his own worth. With one final glance toward the quiet apartment that had witnessed every sacrifice of the past 3 years, Daniel locked the door behind him and drove toward the reunion, unaware that before the night ended, every person who had once underestimated him would discover the truth he had worked so hard to keep hidden.